guys, so today I'm going to do a different kind of video and I'm going to do the strip down challenge. So this is basically going to be me talking about my life and I'm not going to edit or cut anything out of this. I'm just going to sit here and talk. So it might be quite a long video, but fingers crossed it's not. Yeah, so let's just get started. So I don't remember much about being younger because I've got really bad memory. My earliest memory is when I was 4. It was my 4th birthday. And I went downstairs and my mum had laid the table out all pretty and she'd put my caterpillar cake, because we all like caterpillar cakes. And I was really confused and I was like, why the hell? I didn't say that, but I was like, why is there loads of food out? What's going on? What's crack-a-lacking? And she basically said, oh, well, it's your birthday. And then she explained what birthdays were. This happened every year, and that's the earliest memory that I think I've got. I mean, but that's the only segment that I remember. I don't actually remember anything else about that day. I just remember waking up and being like, why is there loads of food all over the table? Then I don't really remember much else about my childhood. I became quite close to my dad's parents, my nan and my granddad, because I went to primary school, years 1 and 2, right next door to their house. So if I felt unwell or if my mum couldn't pick me up or she couldn't take me to school, I'd go there first or go there after for a little bit. So I kind of remember doing that, but I don't really remember it, and it's really bad that I don't remember it. But then I remember I turned 7 and my nan passed away. I had brownies. It was a Monday night. I had brownies. And I basically came home with my mum. We didn't know anything was wrong. We came home, my dad was like pacing around, swearing, crying, blah 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 blah, and we were like, what's going on? And so he basically didn't tell us anything, he just left. And we were all a bit like, what the hell is happening? And I went upstairs to bed because I didn't really understand what was going on. My sister was already asleep. My mum was downstairs, and then about half an hour later my mum came upstairs crying because obviously dad had rang saying Nan's passed away. Yeah, I think it was cancer, but she didn't tell anyone because she knew she had cancer for ages, but she didn't tell anyone. So because she didn't want to upset anyone or worry anyone. Obviously when I was 7 I had no idea what that meant, and you know, they could tell me and I was just like, yeah, okay. But seeing my mum cry was what made me cry, because I don't think I really understood, because I kept asking where Nanny was. I remember I kept saying, where's Nanny, like why is Nanny not here? I couldn't understand it at all. And then as I grew up and moved away from primary school and went to high school, I kind of stopped seeing my granddad, which now I hugely regret, because my granddad passed away on the 27th of August last year, which I can't believe how fast that's gone. Like, that was 4 months ago now. I literally just, no, August, September, October, November, December. Oh my god, that was 7 months ago. I literally can't believe how fast it's gone, because we were actually on holiday when he passed away. But we kind of stopped seeing each other because Grandad started going a bit downhill, and I remember I went to see him with my dad, and he was still mourning about my nan, and he was like bashing his head against the walls and stuff. He was getting really like, I'm not gonna cry, he was getting really like emotional, and he was just taking it out on himself basically. And obviously because he still lived in the house they lived in together, it was really difficult for him, and he basically started like just wanting to die himself, so he wouldn't get out of bed in the morning. He started getting really bad, and he got really bad, like he'd hallucinate and see things that weren't there. He had to go to hospital so many times. He got very bad at one stage because he started like using the toilet in his bed basically. So he thought he was on the toilet but he wasn't, and he was in his bed. So obviously my dad would go around the next day. My dad had to start going around every day to check up on him and give him his tablets and stuff, because he just went like straight away, just went downhill. And because obviously my nan was the one that like looked after him. Yeah, he started going like really downhill. And at this time I was just starting high school, and I got bullied a shit ton in high school. So when I first started high school I looked like a boy, like I'm not gonna lie, I looked ridiculous. I had the worst haircut in the world, and it wasn't pretty. But I didn't have my period till I was 14, so I was quite a late bloomer. So I didn't have boobs, I literally was just like this little weedy girl, and I had like one best friend called Amy who stuck by me, because my friendship group was the popular group, but I was like the outsider that just wanted to be in that group. And Amy was kind of friends with me, and then she was friends with them as well, so she was kind of the one that like forced me into the group kind of thing. They had no choice but to accept me. I know they didn't want to, but they did. So thanks guys. And I'm still friends with them to that day, and we did actually form a really good friendship. We saw each other about 3 weeks ago now. So we are still good friends now. But they all kind of, you know, they were having sex at like 14 and meeting boys, and I wasn't, just because of the way I looked. And I know that, and I know I'm short, and I know I'm skinny, and I know I'm flat-chested. You know, I'm okay with that now. I've learnt to like just brush that off. But because this whole thing with my nan passing away and my granddad was going on at home, then there was a big family argument. I remember I was at school. I'd been on the bus that morning. Basically there was no seats left. I was on the bus and there was no seats left. So I kind of perched on the edge, because there was actually, no, there was one seat left right at the back with all the hard guys in year 11, you know, like the hard lads, all the hard big fat girls that thought they were like fucking supermodels sat in the back. And I was this tiny little year 7, and I tried to perch on the edge of a seat. And they were like, just come back here, there's room up here. And I was getting called all these names. The one that stuck out was the girl that was sat next to me. Strangely, is one of my closest friends' big sister, and I freaking hated her because she was calling me a little shit, blah blah blah, all of this. I sat there in the corner checking my timetable, crying my eyes out. I went straight to the bathroom when I got to school, because I was just like, this is not okay. And then I spent the whole day in my form tutor's room because I just physically didn't want to leave. Yeah, it wasn't very nice. And then I got home to be told that there was a big family argument that had happened that day, and basically I was not allowed to speak or get in contact with my cousin. And my cousin was my like family best friend growing up. We did everything together. We're like twins, and yeah, I wasn't allowed to speak to her. I wasn't allowed to try and contact her. We had to basically just like divide. And I was like, what the hell? Like, what's happened in this day? This is like one of the worst days of my life. So yeah, high school wasn't great. I got bullied by a teacher, which is fantastic. I hated maths, and my teacher was a lovely person, but when she was in her maths room and she was teaching maths, she was vile. And she used to read out our test scores like in front of everyone, which was the worst because I couldn't do maths, so I was always bottom of the class, which made me feel like shit, obviously, because she was just like, get to the bottom, and she was like, and lastly we have Jade again. And this one time we'd done a paper for a practice exam, and I'd got an E in it, right, because I cannot do maths. This was GCSE maths as well. This isn't like 1 + 1. This was like find the square root of and then times it by x and algebra basically, which I couldn't do. And I'd got an E, and there was a boy behind me who'd got a D, and he started crying his eyes out. And she basically stopped the whole class and was like, what's wrong? And he was like, well, I got a D, like I failed. And she was like, you haven't failed, because as long as you've got a mark, you've passed. Which I still had, I'd got an E, but I'd passed. And then she went, well, think of it this way, at least you're not as stupid as Jade with an E. I was like, excuse me, I'm sat right here. So then that night I went home, cried my eyes out, and I was like, Mum, I am not going back in that classroom, like you cannot make me sit in that classroom. So she went in and spoke to the head teacher, and we spoke to a teacher of like a lower set mathematics, and I moved into that class with my best friend Amy, which is when me and Amy kind of became really good friends. And yeah, then I managed to pass. I got a B in statistics and I got a C in my overall maths. So it just shows that like the teacher you have does really help, and she was just, I hated her. Like, she was a lovely person, but I hated her as a maths teacher. So yeah, anyway, moving on, I passed all my GCSEs and I went to college and I did photography, psychology, media and film studies. I passed all of them, blah blah blah. Again, I didn't really fit in because the only person I knew was my friend Olivia, who was in my little group at school, and we went together, but we were only in photography together. So all the other subjects I hated. And after a year I was like, I'm not staying here any longer. Basically my anxiety was just getting on top of me, and I was like, I can't, like physically can't do this anymore. So me and Olivia actually went up to one of the computer rooms in our spare lunch break, and we were like searching different courses, and I just wanted to do photography, like graphicsy kind of things, and she wanted to do art. And we found 2 courses that started in September at Leamington College, so we went straight over there because I was like, I ain't staying here for a minute longer. Obviously I had to finish the year, and I got my AS levels, which I passed, but we wanted to move. So me and Olivia kind of went together to Leamington, which was great, and that's where I met some of my closest friends and my boyfriend, so that was like the best decision I've ever made. Leamington College is the best place to go. I love it there. That's what made me as a person. That's where I became like myself. So I met my best friend Lauren on the first day because we were both there alone in the same class, and we basically just started talking. It turned out we'd taken like 3 of the same AS levels and I decided to leave, so we were the same age. And then we kind of just formed a little group with us. So there was 3 different groups in my college course. There was like the weird nerdy kids, the smokers group who went out every 30 seconds to have a cigarette, and then there was us. We were just kind of the weird, I don't know, because we all formed a group on like the first day and just stuck together. So because of that, we just formed like 3 different groups. I started my second year of the course, so my photography course, and Reese did graphics, so we were in 2 separate classes. And that's when I started my YouTube channel, my first YouTube channel, which got 73 subscribers, which was great, but I got a lot of like shit taken out of me at college. A lot of people found out about it, and my anxiety started like blaring off at me like, no, you can't do this, like everyone's taking the mick out of you, and I basically shut it down. The videos are all still up, the channel's still up, but I just was like, I'm not doing this anymore because I'm too embarrassed, and I stopped doing YouTube for ages, and I hated it because I loved making my YouTube videos like I do now. You know, I loved like sitting down in front of a camera and just letting everything out. But with people in my class watching and knowing that I have to see them every day and they know like things about me that I probably wouldn't want certain people to know, was a bit crappy. So then I stopped my YouTube and I became friends with this girl who was in the other class, and me and Reese basically went through a bit of a shit time a bit further on where he said something that he didn't mean basically, and he said it to this girl. Now this girl openly fancied Reese like crazy. Everyone was like, oh my god, she's so fancy, she's your boyfriend. So the fact that Reese had said this particular statement to this particular girl who I knew fancied him, I was in Malta at the time and I was like, what the fuck, get away from me, I don't want to speak to you, like I can't believe you'd say that to her. Basically I went off on one because I was so like emotionally attached to Reese that, I don't know, kind of went a bit off on one. And basically we got back to college that September and this girl had told everyone what Reese had said. So me and Reese were kind of separated from the rest of the class for a long period of time because we were kind of on our own for a bit because everyone like judged us and everyone was like, why are they together, and everyone kind of thought different things. But we pushed through it and everything kind of came back together, and then we had to leave college anyway, and I was so glad to leave. Considering how much I loved first year, second year, I really just wanted to leave because everyone was getting on top of me and it became a bit of a chore to get up and go to college, and I started like skipping classes in my second year because I just couldn't be asked with the drama basically. So then we finished college and that's where I started my job at One Stop. I'm just a full-time key holder at the moment, so it's just a bit of cash because I'm saving to go to Thailand and things next year and saving for a flat with Reese, but it's just a bit of extra cash kind of in my pocket to keep me going. And then in September 2015 I decided, fuck the world, I'm going to make another YouTube account because why not? I wanted to do it before, now I don't have to see these people that judge me, and even if they see it, I don't care because I don't have to go into college the next day and talk to them about it. So that's when I started this channel. It's going well, 106 subscribers. My love for makeup has increased massively. I've got a huge makeup collection now, which I've done a video on, so that's on my channel if you want to go see that. Yeah, so that is pretty much my life. It's been hard at times, it's been disappointing at times, and it's been difficult, but the majority of the time, you know, the last few years have been great, and I probably wouldn't change them for a while because it's a big learning curve for me, like learning things about different people and learning who I am myself and what I want to do in life, because I've now decided what I want to do. I do want to be a makeup artist, so I'm doing bridal makeup soon. I'm doing makeup artistry management course in September, so if I wanted to I could open my own business, my own studio. That's the plan. So yeah, I don't really know why I made this video because I don't tell a lot of people everything, but I just felt like I needed to get some stuff off my chest and tell people about it. And you know, a lot of people have done these kind of videos and a lot of people have divulged a lot more difficult to kind of take in information and a lot harder things to kind of think about. So yeah, So thank you for watching. I'm glad I didn't cry. I'm very glad I didn't cry. I tried to like overcome and skip different parts of the video because I didn't want to cry about them. So yeah, quite proud of myself for actually not crying. So thanks for watching, and I guess I'll see you in my next video. Bye guys.